One time, a fool comes up to a wise man and asks him, "What is a man?" The wise man turns around, looks at him and says, "A man is a living, breathing, incredible force of nature. He is blessed with the natural ability to go past his limits each and every day. But in order for him to keep this blessing, he must be tested every day. For some men, these tests set them free. But for others who fail them, life becomes a curse. Remember, young brother, the world around you glorifies depression. Any and everything will make them depressed. Why? Because they have surrendered to the tests that were a source of multiplying their blessings. But today, you are about to learn about those exact 5 things that are nothing short of a surrender. These are the 5 things that a man should never do. Number 1, let others control his decisions. This is a mistake most young men go through, and for good reason. A lot of them end up developing people-pleasing tendencies, and along with them, a constant need for validation. Especially if you are on self-improvement, you might have read books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. You might also read and learn tactics on seducing people, and so on. But what eventually ends up happening is that you can lose a true part of yourself somewhere along the line. You might only speak things that make the other person happy. You will fear speaking your true intentions. I know so many men that hit 30 or 40 years of age, and suddenly they realize, oh, all this time I've been living so far, and I've never had any of my own opinions. I was just babbling what the masses were saying. Of course, this doesn't mean you shouldn't learn how to win friends or how to win them over. But do it in a way where you don't lose a part of your true self. Do it in a way that you are never afraid to speak your true intentions. A man without his own opinions is nothing short of an artificially programmed robot. When you allow others to control your decisions completely, you essentially become a modern-day slave. So, how do you fix this? Be more selfish compared to modern-day standard. And by selfish, I don't mean being self-centered, but being self-aware. Learn this difference, young brother. Number 2, being hopeless. When a man turns hopeless, everything becomes a chore for him. From working on his goals to doing something as simple as making his bed. 60% of men in the world are so hopeless that they don't even care for their personal hygiene. And it's entirely because they let the negativity in their lives control them. You might have seen so-called influencers on the internet saying, "Oh, life is too short to exercise," or, "Oh, no one wants to see your muscly arms." Guess what these types of people have in common? They are hopeless. They have lost that spark of curiosity that drives every child and man to explore the unknown and improve. It truly saddens me to say this, but the next time you catch a public transport, especially around the time when people are going back home from work, I want you to observe their emotions and faces. You will see teenagers, men, and women that are so over their life. It's almost as if they have lost the glow. A shadow of gloom and hopelessness covers their faces. Accepting this fate is one of the greatest sins a man can commit. Why? Because nothing in this life is permanent. As a man of action, you can change that reality if you work hard and smart. When you find yourself at a low point in your life, then rejoice. Because like I said before, these are the tests woven into the very fabric of the world that multiply your blessings once completed. Number 3. Never going outside. This sounds easy on paper, but the reality is most men these days don't see the sun for weeks at a time. You will hear them give excuses like, "But I've got so much work to do," or "I don't have anyone to go out with." Some of these excuses may even sound acceptable to some of you, but they hide the truth that the men in question are simply stuck in a mental trap. That's right. As simple as it may sound, one of the greatest secrets to longevity is going outside of your domestic cave from time to time. If all you do is stay indoors, where you go to an indoor office for 8 hours, then come back home and stay indoors, then all you are improving is a decaying mental health. Go out and see the sun. Feel that wind on your skin. It's one of the quickest ways to snap out of your head. Whatever the issue may be, whether you're getting an urge to watch porn or are angry at someone, simply get out into nature. You will immediately find the next steps much more easier to navigate. Number 4. Prioritizing women. When a man prioritizes the opposite sex in his life, his choices, opinions, and time depend entirely on that woman. This single mistake is one that nearly all men make in their lifetime, and most of them don't ever stop making it. It's easy to fall for it. Us men have a natural tendency for doing things for women, whether that's buying them food or protecting them. It's in our genes, but it can become the one thing that will prevent you from spreading them. If your motivation is fueled entirely by your ability to get girls, then you are truly making your house on quicksand. Just take a look at the lives of men who did self-improvement just to attract girls. And when they did get the girl and got their heart broken, they then went on a self-sabotaging mission, where they didn't even want to make any improvement ever again in their life. The secret to achieving the life that you want is learning to prioritize yourself and your mission over anything and anyone else. You must develop the skills and mindsets to beat your sinful desires. Use the time you earn to develop yourself even more and to focus on being the best husband for your future wife. That's right, prioritizing yourself doesn't mean being an incel, but the opposite. You have to keep in mind that no matter what, your life revolves around you and your choices. If you make the choice of only living a life that prioritizes women, then you also make the mistake as we discussed in number 1, where your decisions are controlled by someone else, which in this case are women. And finally, number 5, not searching for a purpose. Imagine working hard for years on end in regards to your physique. Over a decade of consistent diet and workout routine, you finally achieve the body of a Greek god. You look at yourself in the mirror and you feel pride in yourself. Then, as time goes on, you lose interest in the gym completely. Your workouts get less intense, and your drive starts to fade away. Soon enough, you're feeling miserable as you walk into the gym for the 7th time this week, unable to tell why. It may seem insane to think that after achieving so much, you'd feel so full of sorrow. But the reality is that this is the same exact feeling of someone who hasn't achieved anything. That's right, lacking a purpose can do horrifying things to a man, and for good reason too. The whole reason why so many men are into self-improvement these days is because nothing brings more joy to a man than the feeling of improvement towards any field. The moment you take that away is the moment they lose all meaning. Remember and keep this in your mind at all times, young brother. If you are not improving, then you are deteriorating. There is no in between. To see the next best way to level up as a man, check this video here.